back for some more mahoyo. Yeah, the last part was finishing up the second chapter, and third chapter was pretty short enough. Because what happened in the third chapter was were in the middle of their fight and whatnot, at a which was at a park at late night, but all of a sudden, someone was spying on them. You know, when I say them, I mean Aoko and Alice. I made like one like simplistic guess, if anything. This one says blues in her name, and I'm assuming Aoko could mean blue of the sort, according to what I looked up. Because, we already know how Japanese names goes. Although, if anything, like I'd say 95% of the Japanese names are can be used within like a unisex. Like the name Yuri, for example, can be used for a dude and a chick at the same time. So there's that in mind. But Japanese names can have like subjective definitions or translation to it that is. But that's how it's gonna be, I guess. All right. We'll do one more part. Chapter 4. I wonder how this goes. There really isn't any other way of saying this. I am a magician. Oh, that's one way of describing yourself. Magician, mage. Well, there's magecraft. So there's that in mind. Okay. Kind of like those witches in fairy tales who live alone in the woods and perform miracles with the wave of a finger. We already know how this goes when I was watching Umineko visual novel. And Umineko was a long ass one. Don't talk about that. While the popular depiction of it differs from reality, it's closer to the truth than you know. Though, just so we're clear, no, I don't fly through the sky on a broom. Is this referred to like some sort of reference in the Little Witch Academia? Or, I guess, the Wizard of Oz, we got the Wicked Witch of the West riding on a fucking broom. Oh, God. What a meme. I cannot transform into animals or speak with small birds. Modern mages are nothing so fanciful. I don't know, it just sounds so funny. Our existence sounds unbelievable, but we're quite grounded. Though it may seem like we can do anything, we're actually majorly constrained. And while I still have a lot to learn about it, this is my real job. Sounds a lot more romantic than being a high school student, right? Wait, that's your real job? I mean, you don't get paid for freaking learning about magecraft though, but considering that you're like, what are you, like the nepo baby of magecraft, I guess? Is that even a right term to describe Aoko, a nepo baby? I don't know. I mean, she would. I mean, it's not like she was forced to. It's like she was chosen, like since she was a teen. So naturally, this is a secret I don't just share with anyone. A mage must do everything in their power to conceal their work. That is the first and most important of the associations. That is the first and most important of the association's 10 laws. Not that I'm tempted to let the cat out of the bag in the least. Oh, so that explained it on the third episode. My secret identity as an honor student is intact, and absolutely no good would come of me revealing my true nature. If anything, it'll only lead to more headaches. That's why I do everything in my power to keep it a secret. Of course, if I had accomplished anything as a magician by now, then maybe I'd see it differently. I've fantasized about revealing my secret life's work to a single special person when I finally make something of myself. Yeah, it'd be pretty stellar to just confess one day. By the way, I'm a magician, just so you don't know. That idea alone is enough to keep me from spoiling the big reveal, regardless of the association's rules. Yeah, imagine trying to keep your side job or main job as a secret. My grandfather patted me on the head when I shared these thoughts with him. I don't know if that was praise or what, but I remember that his touch was gentle. I first learned that I would be succeeding my grandfather on the day I graduated middle school. When I returned home, there he was. Your elder sister left on a journey. From this day forth, you are the heir to the Aozaki. He said it in such a matter-of-fact way. I knew that the Aozaki family passed down this old tradition of magecraft, but to be honest, I never imagined I would be the one to wield it. Magecraft is supposed to be passed down to a single child. It was my sister's role to take the mantle, and I had no interest in dedicating myself to so many rules and routines. I planned to live a normal life. I had hopes and dreams for the future. I felt bad for my sister, but I was determined to live my life my way. And while I managed to do just that for a time, I was blindsided by a vicious counterpunch. Since then, I've been thrust headlong into a world I had only observed from afar. It was a hell of a way to start high school. I was like, god damn, like, is it because I changed the profile picture on Twitch and it causes the stream to mess up? It was a hell of a way to start high school, but I suppose it wasn't all that bad, all things considered. A lot has happened since then. I was so dazed by this newfound life that a year of school motored right by. I was the second year before I knew it. Thankfully, nothing drastic has happened. The 6 months my roommate and I totally tried to kill each other, notwithstanding. As it happens, I've got a natural talent at this magic stuff, so I've yet to have any hang-ups there either. I'm only human, so I've had my fair share of headaches for sure, but never once did I worry about my future. I thought my life would be smooth sailing all the way. If only everything had gone to plan last night.
どう？
Alice Kuunji asked Aoko Aozaki the second she entered the house. Her dark eyes succeeded where her voice failed to communicate the gravity of the situation. Aoko took off her unflattering coat, unflattering, hung it on the hanger, and sat down on the sofa. Alice sat across from her, with a table separating them.
そっちは？よくないわね。偵察に行けるのは7個くらい。ここのところ使ってばかりで作り置きをする余裕もなかったし。
Reconnaissance. Reconnaissance. I mean, however you can call it. I mean, it is crazy to me. Reconnaissance?
Reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance. Wow. Way to use smart words right there, buddy. Reconnaissance. Alice's gaze drifted from Aoko to the box on the table.
あの夜、町を監視していたやつはいないの？町の偵察は完璧なんでしょ？そいつら。 それは昼間の話よ。夜間飛行は危険が多いわ。
Meaning they were of the least use when needed the most. Aoko sighed. Let's see. Jalen. That's a familiar name. I don't know if we've talked before. Oh, the last. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, the last time we chatted was a few years ago. Yeah, the bot doesn't work. I think I disabled the bot. Yeah, the reason why I disabled the bot because one, apparently like if you type in all caps, it causes the bot to auto delete or something. So I just disabled that. So yeah, no song requests, no anything like that. Yeah, you followed since 2019, so I normally don't keep up. But yeah, I haven't. I remember I haven't streamed since like a couple of years or something like that, and then I went restreaming. So I just stream twice a week.
そういうあなたは朝は随分と強気だったけど。
FGO. I've quitted FGO a few years ago. Since 2000. I quitted FGO since the release of Oberon on the JP account, and I just didn't really bother.
ああ、こっちは予定通りよ。
Oh. Teabako. Oh, I guess Aoko's finally back school late in the evening, I guess. It seems.
明日までには絞り込めると思う。今朝、飛び丸にうちの生徒の自宅と行動時間を調べさせたから。あの時間に公園をうろつくやつはめったにいないし、簡単に割り出せる。
You told Tomura to look into all the students' addresses and schedules. I mean, there's no way. This is so insane.
そう簡単に行くの？
行くわよ。伊達に生徒会に勤めてないわ。その程度のデータは揃えてある。
Oh, that's why.
月1のバイト先はおろか、親しい友人宅との移動時間、その優先順位まで調べ上げてるんだから。
I see. So that's why she took the high position within school, just to like, in case to make sure your identity don't get exposed, I guess.
人には見せたくなかったリストだけど、そんな余裕ないでしょ。だから、そういうのが向いてる副会長にやらせたの。
Did I change my name on Twitch? I changed it to the same username as my YouTube channel. But I'm pretty sure my link to the YouTube channel is in the About Me somewhere. Which, by the way, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, because I do uploads every 2 to 3 days. That's fine. Yeah. What was your previous Twitch username? I believe my previous Twitch username is like funny505, whatever. I didn't really like my old username, so but people still refer to me as that, but oh well. I mean, it is what it is. What do we do now? One thing he does best. Well, your Tobimaru is snooty. That's all I can say. Incidentally, the creation of this secret file started the moment Aoko became student council president. The mere rumor of its existence was enough to strike fear into the entire student body.
そう。徹底しているわね。相変わらず。
Alice was only mildly surprised. I mean, considering you're too much of a stoic, you're too busy to do that. It had been almost 2 years since they first started living together. She knew as well as anyone that when Aoko put her mind to something, she saw it through to the end.
ま、私もあれがこんな風に役立つとは思ってもみなかったけど。ほんと、備えあれば憂いなしとはこのことね。
But what happened last night was far beyond a mere exception to the rule. The predicaments should not have even been possible.
それより、原因は分かったの？結界の結びに不手際があったなんてのは聞かないわよ。
Aoko glared at her. Death glare. The ward was Alice's responsibility. If it was to blame for last night's trouble, Alice had to own up to her fair share. Alice and Aoko may have been roommates and partners, but it was a relationship of convenience. While lineage had brought them together, they were more like enemies than allies. When you use the term frenemies? Oh well. Actually, no. I guess when they refer more enemy-like enemies than allies, then that's more than just the term frenemies. So, well, then again, it's more like Aoko is not the kind of person to have friends. She's just rather like treated as like colleagues. So, put it that way. Ultimately, they were just not a match. Where there was a blunder, it was punished. Where there was an opening, it would be attacked. If there was even an opportunity, the two of them would kill each other in the event of such a moment. Alice locked eyes with Aoko. Aoko's fierce gaze could make a grown man cower in fear, but Alice did not bat an eyelash.
仮の話だけど、あの結界に落ち度があったのなら、今まで何度もこういう状況になっていたでしょうね。
Jalen. See, I thought your name was familiar because, like, didn't we talk on Twitter before in the past? I'm not really sure. But I could have sworn I remembered some various things during the FGO days. I could be wrong, though. I suppose you're right. Aoko agreed, as the question reaffirmed her trust in Alice.
結界のあり方は完璧だったのね。
絶対とまでは断言はできないけど。
Alice answered as flatly as ever. A bounded field is like a sanctuary sealed away from the real world. Steps are taken whereby a certain area is cut off from the outside world. There are various kinds of bounded fields. There are physical ones that cut off an area behind a wall, and less tangible ones that use mirrors, mist, or trees to conceal that which occurs within. However, when closing off an area to the outside world, you cannot avoid communicating the abnormalities existence. In other words, the area may be closed off to the outside world, but it is impossible to hide the fact that it is closed off. In time, someone will take interest in the sealed off area, even if they cannot see what is going on inside. Some might say this is putting the cart before the horse. The ideal field would be one that was both undetectable and impervious to interference from the outside. Bounded field. Okay, then what if one... Damn. It's like, what if the one person that spied on them actually have a thing of knowledge for bounded fields, then... Oh well. Interference from the outside. That was exactly the kind Alice had generated in the park the night before.
その場所に用があっても今はないように思わせれば誰もそこには立ち入らない。隠したい場所の周りに一時的な意識の改ざんを促す結界を張る。手間はかかるんだけど1時間程度の人よけには信頼性は高い結界よね。
I'm pretty sure it doesn't take 1 hour to take out an enemy, though.
アリスの鏡を使った一級品だし途中で破れることもない。事実入ってきたのはあの人形だけだとはっきり感じられた。これで完璧じゃなかったら何が完璧なのよ。
That's the thing. Like, if Alice is of prior knowledge within the magecraft, then how did that go?
私もわからない。森作りに落ち度はなかったわ。森は数日かけて栽培したものだし、今まで通り信頼できる結界よ。けど例外があったのなら、どこかで見落としがあったのね。
It's like, well, maybe there is a slight flaw to this. Though Alice's words conceded the possibility, her eyes expressed her confidence that she had overlooked nothing.
参った。こうなると一番いいのはあいつが人形使いだってパターンね。それならかろうじて納得できる。相手が魔術師なら結界の侵入ぐらいできるでしょうし。問題は侵入した時の違和感をどうやって消したかってことだけど。
Gee, I wonder. The thought of being targeted by this individual was pretty terrifying. If they were able to penetrate Alice's field, it could only mean that their skill in magecraft was superior to Alice's. Alice, in her current state, would be completely helpless against such a foe.
その線はないわ。
Oh wow. It's the case of chocolate from before.
彼は部外者よ。ムクドリはともかく、ロビンが後をたどれなかったもの。魔力の気配は全くなし。誰かの魔術で操られている犠牲者というのもないわね。
Aoko was quickly running out of straws to grasp at, and that meant she was out of questions to ask. All she could do was call it bad luck and leave it at that.
魔術師の秘密を見られておまけに目撃者を逃がしたか。普通の高校生の悩みじゃないな。
Yeah, if only. That feeling when it's just worse than the usual high school problems. The sofa groaned as she leaned back. The gaze went up to the brown ceiling with a sigh. It wasn't much of a view. She was becoming increasingly depressed.
青子、覚悟を決めておいて。
You mean make up your mind? Her roommate's voice seemed indifferent, but Aoko just kept staring up at the wooden ceiling.
それとも、あなたにできないのなら、私が言ってあげてもいいけど。
What do you mean up to the task? We just got spied on like not too long ago. What the hell are you on about? And the one who spied on them didn't have any sort of trace of magecraft or anything like that, so actually no, because there's no way like an average high school student would just stay up in a, like late at night and just go to the park unless, you know, they're stressed and being an insomniac and all, but still. Gee, I mean, I'm pretty sure anyone can suffer from insomnia, I guess. The cool-mannered girl's statement carried an equally icy implication. Aoko took the words in slowly with as much sincerity as she could muster. It was like trying to swallow molten lead.
そうだ。覚悟なんて、もう決めたでしょ。
The thought sounded hollow even as it popped into her head. This was clearly different from last time. While the aim was indeed the same, the circumstances surrounding her target were clearly different. She may have been determined before, but that was as a mage. If enemies emerged, she would kill them. If she was challenged, she would step up to the fight. It was a fight between two mages, and her opponent was in the wrong. Even if this could only end in death for one of them, it was an outcome both parties could accept. Kill or be killed. People die when they are killed. Oh, fuck this. Morality had no weight on this scale. But this time was different. Her opponent was neither enemy nor mage. Even if she was prepared to kill them, this person was likely not ready to die. That's why morality did factor into it now. Was she truly up to the task of murdering an innocent person? Oh, gee, this visual. Gee, Nazu, we're gonna discuss about morals now. It's like, oh, it's morally unjustified to take out to Minecraft an innocent person, even though you just got spied on, and that could like violate the rules of Mages Association. Oh God, just golly help us all. Good she swallowed the fact that this was a common occurrence for a mage. She snorted sardonically. Being a mage did not mean that Aoko was some kind of monk who could cut ties with the real world on a whim. Yeah, I mean, it's not like she was forced into a cult. If there was one thing Aoko hated, it was doing things without conviction or an understanding of exactly why she was doing them. When she acted, she preferred to act decisively.
やるしかないだろうね。
Well, I guess I don't have any choice. As she said it, she got up from the sofa, having had her fill of the ceiling for one day. Aoko had returned to the Aoko of always, and Alice was done probing her.
じゃあこれ
As if to reward her, Alice produced a small bottle. This looks like a tiny little pill bottle. I don't even know what it is anyway. It fit neatly in the palm of her hand. The bottle looked completely out of place in her slender fingers. The glass was cloudy and it appeared empty. Some shreds of paper remained on the front where there was once a label.
何よそれ。
Yeah, what the hell is this? she's like, what the hell are you giving me? Aoko stared at the bottle suspiciously.
収納の小瓶ちょうど一つ余ってたからあげるわ
Yeah, but what is a storage bottle even gonna do?
はい。
Yeah, that's what I thought.
名前は忘れたけど中国の小説に出てきたのと同じよ
Aoko was miraculously able to parse what Alice meant.
それってレンゲ堂の兄弟の話？じゃああの赤いひょうたんと同じなわけ？言いたくないけどそこら辺の風邪薬のラベルを無理やり剥がして小瓶に見せかけてるそれが？
She's just gonna make that face. That's one way to make a face to look. That's one way to make a face like that. If you want to be skeptical or cynical. Alice looked at the bottle and acknowledged how ordinary it looked. She also understood that she would not be the one using it as she set it on the table.
赤いひょうたんじゃなくて陽子玉の上瓶の方。
Jade flask.
そういう問題じゃない。私は魔術師としての雰囲気を論じてるんだ。
What a funny face, as you say it.
些細なことを気にするのね。せいろがんの瓶じゃないだけいいと思うけど。
What? Just be happy it's not a bottle of laxatives. Yeah, if you get... Yeah. Yeah, I... This is so weird. Oh. She made a good point.
蓋を開けて相手の名前を尋ねればいいから。ただし相手に抵抗する意志が残っている場合、小瓶は割れるから気をつけて。
Aoko raised her eyebrows.
ちょっと待った。抵抗する意志があるとダメって眠っている時にやれってこと？
それは試したことがなかったわ。
Oh, that's easy. Just sneak some sleeping pills in the food when feeding someone. That'll work.
眠っているのに返事をする人っているの？
たまにいるけど。まあ確かに珍しいわね、そういう人。
In that case, one would have to weaken them until they were about to pass out.
ああ、そうそう。薬や魔術がかかっていると、その重さでも割れるから気をつけて。
Okay, then what's the point? God damn it. There goes the plan of sleeping pills out the frickin' window. Jeez.
使えない。それってほとんど役立たずってことじゃない。
Damn. She also shares the similar frustrations.
それは青子次第ね。
Oh, that's helpful advice. Alice turned away as she replied, as if the topic no longer mattered to her.
はあ、アリスがこういう小道具好きなのは知ってたけどね。これも趣味なわけ？
Aoko asked, hoping Alice would deny it.
多分。
Oh, she wasn't denying
そ
it.
れでどうするの？持っていくのか行かないのか。
Are you gonna take this tool or not? Without answering, Aoko dithered a bit before taking the bottle and putting it in her pocket. She figured she might be able to find some use for it. She's gonna sneak that bottle in. 2 hours had passed and the clock struck 9. Their conversation had moved from the drawing room to the sunroom and had manifested into the kind of scene one would not expect in such a mansion.
まあ本当はね、飛び丸に任せる気はなかったんだけど。
That's supposed to be food. A hot earthenware pot sat on the table. Aoko spat out complaints to no one in particular as she plucked food from it from her chopsticks. Oh, I guess this is your usual food right here. Tonight they were eating a traditional Japanese meal that looked out of place in this mansion. When it came to the kind of Japanese hot pot where all one had to do was buy and boil ingredients, it was usually Aoko's responsibility. I mean, it's only Aoko and Alice living in the big-ass house, so... Alice sat across from Aoko as she silently poked at the pot with a fork.
山城のやつが来るなり、しずきくんはまだ部活に入っていないから面倒見てあげてくれないかななんて言ってくるもんだからさ。全校生徒の行動範囲なんて見直す気力なくなっちゃったのよ。
The egg she had plucked was still as silky as a baby's bottom. What an analogy. So she returned it to the pot. She settled for the shirataki noodles instead.
そりゃあのバカがバイトで忙しいのは知ってるわよ。だからできるだけ春先までのんびりしてて、あんなのでも親身になってくれそうな部の部長に当たってみたのに。
Are these two fighting over food in the hot from a hot pot? That's funny.
ありがとうの一つもないってのはちょっと尺に触るわよね。ねえ、聞いてるアリス。
As if her mouth was full, she simply nodded in response. Her expression stated that she had no interest nor opinion on the matter, but she at least appeared to be listening. Satisfied, Aoko nibbled on some hanpan fish cake.
それに私、いい人なんて言われるやつは信用できないのよ。あろうことか、飛び丸までそんなこと口走る始末だし。あれはいい人なんじゃなくて、ただぼんやりしてるだけなんだっての。
Is Tobimaru Sojuro's wingman? As if... You know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna explain this any further. Dude, I can't even take the part seriously when there was like a conversation between Soujuro and Tobimaru. Fucking Tobimaru. Actually, no, it's not Tobimaru that was trying to make Soujuro hook her up. Whatever. It's more of Tobimaru's like, hey, I wouldn't start a liking to Aoko if I were you, because what this and that. So
だいたいあそこまで言われて怒りもしないなんてどうかしてるわ。
her thoughts went to what had happened in the student council room earlier that day. She remembered how non-responsive Soujuro had been to her words. His unconcerned face alone was enough for her to swallow the rest of her hanpan without chewing it.
何が分かってるんだなよ。
His words were a lot like those that ended her childhood. That feeling when those last words was enough to break her.
青子ちゃんは分かっているんだね。それでも自分であり続けられるということはとても強いことなんだよ。
Perhaps it was meant as a compliment, but she took it as a patronizing way to pity her, because the person who said it had acted like she was looking at a wounded animal.
あんな変態の言ってたことなんて今さらどうでもいいけどさ。
That episode might have made her the most confused she had ever been in her life. Yet, what shocked young Aoko the most was to look of pity on the face of the person she admired the most.
喧嘩。
The abrupt comment stopped her in her tracks.
ごめん、聞いてなかった。喧嘩ってあの喧嘩？
Gee, I wonder what's the mention of that. Alice nodded.
あなたの感想だけじゃ状況はよくつかめないけど。
I don't even know what fight was even mentioned.
つまり、青子はその人に喧嘩を売りたかったのね。
Maybe so. Alice bit into the very last hanpen. Her remark was unexpected but completely on point. Damn, look at that look on her face. It's like you're already humiliated enough as is.
なんでそうなるのよ。私はあんなのと1秒だって関わりたくないだけだってば。だいたいそれどころじゃないし、興味とか全くないし、会話もこれ以上ないってぐらい簡潔に切り上げたし。
Wow. That's like a typical. That seems like a very typical Desundere thing.
ならどうして今そんな話をするの？
Why bring him up in the first place? It's like maybe is he the one freaking spying on y'all in the first place? Is that why?
え、それはあんたに今日の調査過程を知らせてあげたのよ。それ以外何があるっていうの？
What other reason could Alice be suggesting Aoko had for bringing it up? It would be several hours later, in bed, that Aoko realized that she had dug her own grave.
いいけど私は別に。ただ青子は本当にその人が嫌いなの？
Alice ate her hot pot in silence as if she was honoring some sort of sacred ritual. Her face was as indifferent as always, but she was secretly enjoying how flustered Aoko was. Aoko remained oblivious to this. Normally she would have noticed immediately, but she was not quite herself at this moment.
本当にって、そりゃそうよ。気に食わないって何度も言ってるじゃない。
そう。具体的には？
Is it because he's nonchalant is the one reason why you dislike, or is it just he's too normal? He's too much of a normie for you.
は？具体的にはって、そんなのに理由なんて。
Yes, you do. She trailed off as she finally realized how disagreeable she was being. She could come up with no reason why. Her instincts had told her that she was incompatible with that hick. But why such a strong reaction? More than anything in the world, Aoko hated emotions without reason, and decisions made with no rationale.
嫌いなものは嫌いなんだから、ちゃんとどっかに理由があるんだと思うけど。
As you're playing with your chopstick. Look at this. Look, what the hell? Oh god. This is why Aoko is hard to be taken seriously with expressions like these. Like, we're already over several parts in. I think it's pretty obvious by now. Oh, and it disconnected. Well, that's a fucking bummer. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, stream got disconnected twice in a row. I don't know why they tend to happen like that. I did put the bitrate above 5,000, so I know someone put like a high-ass bitrate for like 8,000, just to make it so like everyone couldn't even like not able to look at the stream. So you had to lower it. That was pretty funny. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, she's trying to find a reason why she dislikes Soujuro. Yeah. She became more flustered the more she talked. Unfortunately for her, she could not come up with a coherent reason to hate Soujuro Suzuki. Why though? Like literally, why? Like you can't even come up with an excuse. Like anything, there's like one random dislike. Like, what the heck? It was not his fault that he had zero common sense. It was the fault of the environment he grew up in. I mean, he grew up on the mountain countryside, And I mean, he's trying to be used to adapting to city environments, so it's not his fault. Can't blame him. The only insult you're probably gonna give him is like call him a tourist or something, but he's not really. That's not like the right term for it, really. In fact, it was admirable that he was trying so hard to adapt to civilized society. As clueless as he might seem, he was not a complete waste of space. Oh, thank goodness. That's an insult if you ask me. If he seemed a bit slow, it was only because his gentle nature compelled him to think before acting. When one looked at everything objectively, the conclusion was obvious. As much as she was loath to admit it, he really was unassuming do-gooder everyone had him pegged as.
ちょっと本気かっての。人間的に悪いところ、本当にみじんもないのかあれ。
There was plenty, so she left it at that for now. The chopsticks she had been using came to a stop. She was getting very annoyed. She lost her appetite all of a sudden. An irrational hatred burned through her head. Unable to come to terms with her feelings, she desperately tried to analyze Soujuro, but her mind only went in more circles. Alice fixed Aoko with a deadpan stare.
呆れた。
A small sigh.
らしくないわね、青子。
Those words were the final blow. The final blow. Aoko felt the floor fall out from under her. That's so hyperbole as hell. She was unable to leave her chair until long after Alice had finished eating and left. Oh, man. So much for that. I mean, this seemed like a pretty reasonable stopping point, but let's see. However, even after getting knocked down, Aoko Awazaki was not one to be kept that way. She made short work of clearing up after dinner, and after conceding the first bath of the night to Alice, left the drawing room. Since it was customary in these sorts of mansions to turn the lights off when leaving an empty room, the only lit areas of the house were the drawing room and the two girls' bedrooms. The upstairs was enveloped in darkness. Why is it only Twitch chat working and not the YouTube? It says one working. Uh-oh. God damn it, Restream. Aoko briskly made her way to the deepest part of the east wing along the long corridor, illuminated only by the light of the moon, and arrived at her room.
結論として、やっぱり騙し討ちは気に食わない。
She had been considering this on the way down the corridor, or perhaps ever since she left the drawing room. The moment she entered her room, she drew her proverbial line in the sand.
やるにしても隠れるのはなし。正面から堂々と向かい合って理由を言う。
This was not a concession driven by feelings of sympathy or compassion. For her, this was simply the way things ought to be.
よし、そうと決まれば。
After settling her resolve, she headed to the study next door. Study room?
木曜棚の当時欄、緑の背拍子と。
Without hesitation, she removed one book from the countless volumes on the shelf. The introductory textbooks transported here from the Aozaki residence were separated into 6 shelves, labeled Monday to Saturday. Aoko had organized the books by topic, genre, and purpose, and had more or less memorized exactly what was in her personal library. Referencing any of this material took her no time at all. It was to be expected from keeper of the study. Though this keeper's fiefdom was nothing more than a small room. Is there even a term for this that I was told earlier? Was it like several months ago? Like a book gooner? I mean, I don't know. Book gooner. I mean, when it comes to magecraft and a bunch of like, maybe Aoko is a, who knows? Maybe Aoko is a philosophy gooner. Okay, I'll stop. Both Aoko and Alice had given up all hope on the cluttered mess of a library in the annex. Nevertheless, on occasion, Aoko would have no option other than to give Alice a heads up and visit it when the study did not meet her needs.
できればそれは避けたいところだけど、と。
Aoko placed the thick green book down and took a seat. The desk she sat at was sturdy but uninviting. Did y'all not hire someone to like dust the place around? It feels like the study room has not been touched since, or I don't know. It's like you would visit the study room like every once in a while. It wasn't the sort of furniture girls her age grew attached to, but she liked its minimalist elegance nonetheless. She flipped lightly through the book's old, worn pages.
アリスみたいな結界は私にはまだ無理だ。人払いはその場所自体に頼らないといけないか。
The mountains? The woods? The school building empty at night? She was looking for a place that would be, except for the worst of luck, void of people, allowing her to forego the use of magecraft. Oh, is she trying to look for a location so that no one can spy on them?
茨の壁だの魔力の霧だの。そういう回りくどいのもなんだしな。退路を断つっていうなら、もっとこう見た目にも状況的にも派手な方が効果的だし。
I see. Because it's not the park, because that happened. And, yeah. You had to make that face. Muttering about how there had to be some basic spell that fit her needs, she continued to flip through the pages. It goes without saying that she was looking for a way to deal with the witness from the previous night. Magecraft's uses were many, but not all encompassing. Fundamentally, magecraft was good for making things or phenomena that existed already, while more or less bypassing the time and resources conventional means would require. It was, however, unable to manifest phenomena that were impossible in this world. It was essentially an equivalent exchange that used a variety of shortcuts. A phenomenon made possible by human hands, actualized by an individual's power. That was generally what magecraft was. To give a simple example, if Aoko were so inclined, she could make an entire lake appear at the mansion. However, it had to be something that existed within this world. Nothing, not even the smallest matter, could escape this unbreakable law. Even if Aoko were to release a level of heat on par with an F-15 fighter jet's afterburner, that event would only be possible if the circuit named Aoko Ozaki acted as a temporary input variable in a magical formula. The derived equivalence was simply a value that already occurred in reality. If the variable in the equation did not exist elsewhere in a reality, the spell would not be valid. The imaginary element known as magical energy was like a lie that could only slip its fantasy through the network of order at the moment of ignition. Giving form to the non-existent, illusions invading reality was something the universe did not allow.
とは言ってもエーテルは基本何にでもできるんで、大元が嘘なんだっけ。魔力だけで構成されたものは幻想扱いされて急速に消えていくとか、典型的な結界茨の壁とかはもともと茨を生やしておいて魔力で一気に成長強化してるものだし、魔力っていうのは結局使い勝手のいいガソリン兼事象に火をつける火花ってわけで。
Magical energy and easy to use fuel source? Wait, so if magical energy is like an easy to use fuel source, then is the magician the car?
なんて言いつつ、架空要素云々より基本的な回路の接続と魔力を加工して弾くことぐらいしかできないのよね、私。
Well, laughing to herself, she looked for a bounded field or something similar, more suited to her current ability. The identity of the witness was still unknown, but if they were a classmate of Aoko's, she had any number of pretexts by which to lure them out. The problem was after that.
そうなると問題は命中率よね。一撃で決めないと逃げられちゃうだろうし。
To be honest, she wasn't confident she could handle this smoothly without Alice's support. But Aoko saw no reason to ask for help given that the target in question was a regular bystander. Fledging as she was, she still had her pride as a mage. She continued to turn through the pages, rhythmically. In the midst of the fluttering sound of thumbing through the volume, Aoko suddenly stopped her finger at a certain page.
見つけた。
She smiled to herself. It was a simple formula that she had tucked away somewhere in the recesses of her memory. A spell of simple destruction.
檻をね、作ればいいのよ。狩りをする時の常套手段じゃない。獲物を逃げられないようにするのは。
She placed a bookmark in the book, closed it, and got up to return to her room. Suddenly, she felt someone watching her. Through the window, she saw her in the night, a girl staring back with a cold-hearted expression. The girl's face was hers, the expression undoubtedly her own. She began planning how to erase the witness. Though to say it was something as elaborate as a plan was overkill. This was just a job. She was going to make a cage and then lure her prey into it. There was no getting around it. Premeditated violence.
さあ、そろそろアリスは上がったかな。
She mumbled out loud, as if the bath would return some warmth to her chilled heart. About 20 minutes had passed since she gave Alice the privilege of using the hot water first. Alice tended to bathe quickly, finishing well under 10 minutes. Well, estimated time, that is. Her roommate was the type that could not understand the spirit of the bath, treating it as nothing more than a necessity for looking after one's body. For Alice, the concept of staying at a hot spring inn sounded more like a chore than anything. Though in this regard, Aoko had to agree.
よし、浴場はカラッと。あれ、今に電気ついてる？
Well, the dialogue said 10 minutes it took for her to take a bath, so maybe the other 10 minutes was at the drawing room. It was unusual for Alice to sit in the drawing room after her bath. On nights when she had nothing to discuss, it was her style to return directly to her bedroom.
Alice, いるの?
Alice nodded. With no book in hand, it appeared that Alice had been waiting for Aoko.
そういうこと。私も信用ないな、ほんと。
Aoko scratched her head in exasperation. Was it that Alice was worried about her or had no faith in her? Her expression was so calm Aoko could hardly figure what she was thinking.
方針なら決まったけど、聞く?
Oh gee, we already know how that goes.
その顔を見れば聞かなくてもわかるわ。
See, even Alice said the simplest thing. What the heck?
迷いがなくなったのはいいことだけど、悪い癖ね、青子。
Alice let out a small sigh. It was unusual for Alice to make such a display of her disappointment.
ええ、騙し討ちは趣味じゃないから。殺すにしても正々堂々、正面から理由を言った後にする。それならすっぱり後腐れもないし、文句ある?
Just straight to the point.
文句はないわ。そういうの、好きか嫌いかはこの際関係ないでしょうし。けど。
How but?
確実性はどうかってことでしょ。私、いまいち命中率悪いし。その辺の問題は場所選びでフォローしようかなと。私はアリスのようにはいかないから、物理的に逃げられない場所にしようと思うんだけど、何かアイディアない？
Alice nodded in thought. The finger that gently rested on her lips indicated that the question was to her liking.
鏡はどう？鏡の国なら永遠に閉じ込めていられるけど。
Put him in the shadow realm.
あんた、そういうところ常識ないわよね。
Yeah, you want to go that far, huh? She frowned at Alice's bad taste. Hey man, better than getting spied on. It was the kind of idea her roommate found to be inspired, but Aoko knew was out of the question. God. Aoko was looking for a natural battlefield she could prepare, not a realm bordering on true magic that she couldn't create to begin with.
なら他を当たるのね。でも、ここを使うのだけはやめてちょうだい。
言われなくても分かってるって。
She's like, I know what I'm doing.
けど、そうね。
Oh, this is like the second time she's doing that smug look on her face.
ミラーハウスはいいアイディアかも。
Aoko smirked and shifted her balance away from the wall she was resting on.
サンキュー、アリス。全体の流れは出来上がったわ。ほんと、こういうのってダメ元でも相談してみるものよね。
Now in a good mood, Aoko retreated from the drawing room. Alice tried and failed to visualize what kind of blueprint Aoko had drawn up in her mind, but whatever it was, it appeared to be the thorough kind Aoko was good at. No words. Aoko headed for the bathroom, humming to herself as she went. A year and a half of sharing a living space had taught Alice something. When Aoko Ozaki was in this good of a mood, only deep trouble could follow.
青子一人に任せていいのかですって。
Oh boy. She's like, yeah, I got this. It was unclear how long the bird had been in the drawing room, chirping at Alice. The robin-like bird pranced across the furniture as if it were its property.
そうね。彼女が一人でやると言ったのだから、任せるのが正しい信頼関係なんでしょうけど。
And she's like, well, as much as she want to handle it herself, I've got a bad feeling about this. The girl in black raised her arm. The bird, chirping once again, alighted on her outstretched affectionate finger.
嫌な話だけど、信頼と信用はまた違う話よね。
Well, I guess that's true. I guess trust is like beforehand, and faith is like believing in someone, like post trust. I don't know. Trust and faith are two very different things. Okay. The bird puffed out its stout chest in agreement, and Aoko was none the wiser to her roommate's rather unsettling comments. How amusing. Okay, I think this is good enough. we're gonna save. We already went long enough as is. Over an hour in. Alright. We're gonna do more of this later. Actually, hold on. Can I double check this? Yeah, I think it's good. Alright. Gonna be stopping in here for now.